recommended not having Uncle Joe come out and
Not a good idea.
use
No.
his chainsaw on it.
Right.
Oh.
And make sure those people.
Lasso it and pull it.
Make sure those people are licensed and insured, and, you know, that they know what they're doing. And they should have some references. Chances are they've been in business a long time. Definitely check that out. And that'll be part of your final plan, will be a budget removal plan.
Now, have other communities, once they get all this information, I mean, have they had community meetings where interested citizens can come and go over some of this material too?
Yes, and that's part of our contract.
Oh, okay.
Is that we will have one.
Okay.
It's kind of iffy, you know, can we get people to come out? I was up in Cresco and did theirs, we only had 35 people, the town was 6,000, well, 5,000. So we'll do what we can.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming
Thank you.
My
tonight.
pleasure, thanks for having me.
Drive safe.
Will do.
No more records.
There's thunderstorm warnings too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm memorable, right?
Yes, you are. Lots of people talking about you. It has nothing to do with trees. You're driving. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, Laura Freese, we have you next on our agenda.
Well, and Ralph is here, if you want to hear from him as well. I think probably that 100 pages you have has to do with what I'm going to talk about. I'm Laura Freese. I'm the Executive Director for Northeast Iowa RC&D. Our office is out of Postville, and we serve a 7-county region. We actually do quite a bit of water monitoring and watershed project work, including all different watersheds in that region, and they kind of extend out of there, of course, because you can't confine a watershed. What you probably received, I know Ralph sent some information to, I think, to the city administrator.
Yeah, I sent copies of the Turkey watershed, and Turkey, all I had is a template to go work off of, because WAPSI isn't developed yet, so we don't have the paperwork for it, so I just showed you what we did from that. I don't know how much you distributed to the council and stuff.
The only thing that was
Got a map.
the only thing that was put on our Dropbox was the map.
Oh, okay,
The rest
so
of
you
it,
have something like this.
that they
Right.
have that, but the rest of it, it's going to be up to you to kind of explain what the watershed is and.
And we have copies if you just want to pass them around. Yeah. So I've been working in watersheds since 1998, working with the RC&D to monitor water quality. We started in the Upper Iowa River watershed, which is about 648,000 acres. It's in 6 counties, 3 in Iowa and 3 in Minnesota. And we've been monitoring that whole time. We had a large watershed project there to improve water quality. And we were very successful over a 10-year period, and we continue today. But we saw decrease in nitrogen, decrease in phosphorus, decrease in sedimentation. Very successful project. And then a few years ago, we moved into the Turkey River watershed. In both those watersheds, the Turkey River watershed is over 1 million acres, much like the Upper Wapsie is. But in both those watersheds, we did start by forming an alliance. And an alliance, as we defined it, is a group of like-minded people working together, and it's an informal group. And they all decided we're going to monitor water quality. That was important to them. And it included the soil and water conservation districts from all the counties, and certainly other technical people that helped to pull the water and monitor it monthly. And so we do that over 100 sites right now. None of them are in the Wapsie, unfortunately. And I think to remember, we're going to go back to that in a minute, that those watersheds started that way. So they started working together informally. Now things have changed since we started working in watersheds. And recently, I guess a few years back, the legislature, the Iowa legislature, passed House File 2459 in 2010 it was. And that House File approved the development of watershed management authorities. So this isn't an alliance, this isn't an informal group of people working together, but a watershed management authority is a formal collaboration between multiple entities, cities, counties, and also soil and water conservation districts. And the main reason they did this, it was in response to the flooding that had occurred in 2008. and they said, you know what, we have to get people working together to solve these flooding problems, or we can't succeed, that Iowa's just overwhelmed with the flood issue. Now, the soil and water districts in your county have really never been charged with the flooding issue. Their task is to reduce pollution, really, to reduce rainwater runoff in terms of nitrogen and sediment and bacteria and all those things that go with it. They're trying to hold the soil on the land, they're trying to hold the nutrients there, but no one has ever really been tasked before with controlling the water so that we don't have our communities flooding and we don't have so much damage to our county and city and private infrastructure. Our counties alone deal with millions of dollars in road and bridge damage because of flooding. Our cities, you deal with damage because of flooding. Private individuals deal with that. So the legislature was responding to the floods of '08, and they passed this new legislation. So 466B, subchapter 3, watershed management authorities must invite all cities, counties, and soil and water conservation districts to participate and make up the board. So if a watershed management authority is going to be formed in the Wapsipinicon River watershed, someone has to invite everyone. And so that's kind of where the county stepped up. And we did have a meeting there where I talked about this, and everyone present was happy to see them move forward. And so they would like to see other people be invited. And in your case, you look at that map that you have, that means all these communities, there's 28 or 29, all these counties, and then all the soil and water districts from all these counties have to be invited to join in that collaboration, and it's formal. They would all have to sign a 2080 agreement agreeing to work together, and then they would each, including yourselves, have to appoint a representative to the board. So there would be a board for that 2080. And you can decide how often you're going to meet. Now, the Iowa Code says that you would be created pursuant to a Chapter 2080 agreement between a minimum of 2 political subdivisions from the same watershed. So everyone could say no, or maybe everyone hasn't responded yet, and just 2 of you could do it. So the city and the county could say, we want to move forward. We know the Soil and Water District already wants to, so the city could say, no, we don't care. But 2 entities out of the 35 or however many there are, 40, have to say yes and agree to work together and sign that 2080. And then that watershed management authority would be governed by a board of directors that were represented by everyone that participated, whether it's 2 people or the Turkey River Watershed Management Authority has 35. They have 23 communities, 5 counties, and 7 soil and water districts. The Iowa Code also says what the watershed management authorities may do. They may assess flood risk, assess water quality, assess options for reducing flood risk and improving water quality, monitor federal flood risk and improve water quality, educate residents of the watershed regarding water quality and flood risks. They cannot acquire property by eminent domain, and political subdivisions are not required to participate. You can be involved in more than 1 watershed management authority. So for some counties, they may have 3 watersheds in their county. So why is this important right now? And I think you folks have had a lot of problems with flooding. At least you are threatened by the river pretty frequently. So for you, the flooding may be the issue. For some other people, the water quality may be an issue. In fact, of course, if you have a lot of sediment come down and it stops behind your dam, that creates a problem for you. So there are a lot of reasons to be involved. What is the real commitment? And I can tell you this because we helped the Turkey River Watershed Management Authority form, the RC&D did. We actually are now developing a plan for them. And there's a lot of reasons to participate, and I can't tell you very many not to. Your board, once it's formed, or even in your bylaws, you can decide how frequently you're going to meet. And the Turkey Watershed decided to meet quarterly. It's not a huge commitment. It is a commitment. So you have to send somebody, and they need to diligently